The anime begins with a group of dwarf goblins having dinner at night, while a boy watches them from behind a tree. As he steps back, he accidentally makes a noise. The goblins hears it, and as the boy retreats, they chase after him. They pursue him for a while, but then the boy jumps, and the goblins fall into a trap he had set earlier. He's glad he prepared it in advance, but for now, he's making his way through this new world alone. In the next scene, we see a flashback to him at school, reading a book during lunch break. It's clear he's a loner, with no friends. He keeps to himself because he doesn't want to be involved with his classmates, who often disturb his reading. There are several groups in his class, but he doesn't belong to any of them. One day, a magic circle suddenly appears, shocking everyone. He feels excited, knowing he's being summoned to another world, just like in the light novels he reads. But he also knows it's going to be a hassle. As he thinks this, his body moves on its own. He tries everything to escape, but nothing works. The magic circle widens, and everyone is panicking as their bodies start disappearing. Even the boy, who tries to escape through the ceiling, is eventually transported to a white void. He wonders why he's alone and imagines a king and princess will appear, like in the novels. But instead, he meets an old man who seems just as lonely. The old man is panicking, saying that the boy's classmates have already been transported to another world, and he was left behind. The old man tells him to prepare for his transport and to pick his skills for the other world. Normally, each person gets 50 points to allocate to skills and magic, but because there were so many students, most of the useful skills were already taken. The boy looks through the remaining skills and finds them useless. Angry, he demands better skills and whines about the worthless options. Finally, the old man snaps and says he'll give him all the leftover skills, then bids him farewell. The boy, now stuck with all the worst skills, is teleported to the other world. He's unsure what to do until he notices a villager set, wondering if it might have unlimited storage. Dismissing it as just some leftover items, he puts on the outfit and checks his status. He is asked to throw some dice, and when he rolls it, it lands on him. He wonders if it stands for minus or masochist. He assigns his points to luck, maxing it out, and realizes M stands for max. He also has 2 extra skills, likely because he was summoned alone. Still, he assumes he won't get a harem in this world and resolves to find shelter and make a base for his operations. He puts on contact lenses from the villager asset, which grant him appraisal skills, allowing him to identify everything, from fruits to poisons. He finds an edible mushroom and stores it in the bag he had previously complained about. He heads to a river, drinking water from the same bag. He finds a cave and makes it his base. Using his temperature magic, he starts a fire to keep monsters away. As the night passes, his temperature magic levels up, unlocking fire magic. The next morning, he wakes up in a good mood, but is hungry. He prepares a breakfast of mushrooms and beef using the pan and knife from the villager asset. His next plan is to secure more food and take safety measures. But monsters are a problem. That's when he detects a presence. It's the dwarf goblins again. Despite their small size, their stats are high. He prepares a stick, wraps it in magic, and jumps to hit one on the head, tossing it aside. Another goblin attacks, but he defeats it with magic. After surviving his first battle, he returns to the cave, proud of himself. Checking his stats, he's pleased to see that he's leveled up and that many of his useful skills have doubled. However, he's growing tired of eating mushrooms and wants meat, though he knows he needs to enhance his skills first. The next morning, he leaves to practice magic. He's determined to find meat but struggles, realizing he needs more magic training. He infuses magic into his body and jumps, feeling lighter as his dexterity improves. Now, even stronger goblins are no match for him. He's confident he could take on 3 at once, but when he actually encounters them, he gets scared and returns to his base to test other skills. He manages to slay 2 goblins and spends the night studying DIY magic. On the 5th day, he successfully defeats a goblin with a single strike and begins adding furniture to his base. His life in this world is going well. One night, while chasing a rabbit to taste some meat, he detects another presence. This time, it's delinquents, but he also senses the other groups from his class: the Jairus, the jocks, the nerds, and the class representative. He briefly considers making friends, especially since he recognizes one girl from the 1st grade, but then he realizes he can live freely without anyone bothering him. He decides to conquer this world on his own. He may be alone, but he is living his best life. He hides in the bushes and the boy notices the movement, and as he tries to look, but a rabbit jumps out of it. The boys then leaves and Haruka relaxes. He didn't wanted to get involved with them, but wanted to listen to their conversation. They were talking about how huge the class rep's globes are, and Haruka thinks that still they are creep. And then they talk about the legs of the swimming club girl. But the class rep was with those girls, so she has kept them in line since first grade. One of the delinquents named Tanaka asked another guy if their skill would allow them to do whatever they wanted, and Tanaka confirmed, yes. Haruka overheard this and thought, they're planning something shady with their skills. The jerks leaves and Haruka also heads back. Status shows that his loner skills are leveled up because he hid from his classmate. Then he wonders about the useless skills he's got, and also improves his cave. He has a puppet skill, but he thinks it's useless. He eats to relieve his stress and goes to sleep, but couldn't because of a noise outside and wonders if the delinquents are fighting, and went to check. He found a group of nerds fighting goblins. Haruka considered helping them, but used his appraisal skill and saw that they were quite capable. Because he is the only one with useless skills, while everyone else has overpowered abilities. He wonders how he is the only ordinary person in the class while the others are elites and public figures. He sees that two goblins were about to attack them from behind. He decides to intervene. He quickly killed the two goblins and saved the nerds. The nerds thanks him, but Haruka can't answer normally because of being alone. He then invited them to his cave, where they were impressed by how well built it was. Did you build this all by yourself? They asked, to which Haruka thought, of course I did. I'm a loner, after all. Haruka asked about the other and they revealed that they ran away from the group. When Haruka asked why, they revealed that after they were teleported to this new world, everyone was surprised and girls started crying as they wanted to go home. They learned to check status and use their skills. One girl wanted to strip as it was so hot out there. The class rep asks them to calm down, but one guy points that there are goblins behind her. She got scared and the girls started crying, but the nerds stepped up, revealing their skills in defeating the goblins. The jocks also helped and defeated the goblins. The class rep asked them to move to a safer place. Everyone agreed and moved to a safe riverbed. They worked together and built the camps, and the class rep assigned tasks for everyone. However, this happiness doesn't last long. The girls in the class soon start complaining, questioning why they should do any work. They refuse to help and leave, much to the class rep's frustration. Seeing this, other students also start leaving, claiming the work is too much for them. This causes the class to fall apart, with only the nerds and a few others continuing to work while the rest of the students lays around, doing nothing. Meanwhile, the nerds encounters goblins and fights with them, but they are left exhausted from the effort. They realize that they need to raise their levels, because there are two skills, mesmerize and puppetry, that can control people, and the delinquents have it. The nerds kept an eye on delinquents, and overhear their plan to use their skills to control the class rep and do terrible things to her. Realizing the danger, the nerds rush to inform the class rep, who vows to level up herself to protect the group. In the following days, the delinquents master their mesmerize and puppeteer skills, feeling invincible. But when they try to approach the class rep with their malicious intent, the nerds intervene. They use sealing their skills and saves the class representative. The delinquents are then expelled from the camp, as their plans got exposed. They came back again to take revenge, especially from the nerds. They started destroying the place and lighting up their tents on fire, watches joyfully, and leaves. And for some reason the nerds were blamed for picking fight with them. The class rep stood up for them, but nerds decided to leave. Haruka got emotional and offered them mushrooms and they partied all night. The next day Haruka waves them off as they leaves, and asks him if he wants to join. Haruka gets emotional, but still denies them and tells them to go. He goes to check on others, and in the way he encounters a kobold. It bites his hand, but he manages to defeat it. Haruka finds their base at night, but no one was there. Then he finds some footprints, and using his skill, sees the girls coming toward him. He gets nervous and tries to run. Girls ask him to stop, but he runs and they chase after him. Eventually he stops, and she asks him if he knows where the nerds are. She reveals that she wants to apologize to them, because they realize that they've been able to survive this long thanks to them. Haruka says that they cannot catch up to them, and asks them if they are willing to apologize or just give up. The girls started crying and asked him if he can teach them how to survive until they meet the nerds. They started acting like servants, so Haruka checks status and finds that the servitude skill got activated. Girls started following him, and their eyes looked dead. They would finish enemies without even asking, and bring the gems from dead monsters to him. He was thinking about how to cancel the skill, and just then class rep appeared and identified him. She calls him but he wouldn't listen. She tries few times and then shouts at him. Haruka gets scared. In the next scene we see the delinquents planning to harass the girls again, but then decides to deal with the one in the way first. The episode ends here.